Welcome to Karma's Harvest. They say the most dangerous person in the room is the one who has nothing left to lose, but for Mordecai Cross, the danger came from the one who had waited a decade for this moment. The digital execution was merely the opening act. The real harvest was about to be reaped in the flesh. Have you ever realized that the person sleeping next to you might be your judge, jury, and executioner? Mordecai sat in a crumbling motel room on the outskirts of the city, the neon sign flickering like his fading hopes. He had one last card to play, a cold storage crypto wallet containing $50 million, his exit strategy. But as he entered the private key, his screen turned blood red. The balance read 0. Instead of his wealth, a single video file appeared titled, "The Root of the Shroud." Mordecai clicked it with trembling fingers, expecting to see a masked hacker. Instead, the screen filled with the face of his wife, Elara, sitting in their home library, looking calmer than he had ever seen her. "Do you remember the name Cyprian Vane, Mordecai?" she asked, her voice a chilling whisper. Mordecai felt the air leave his lungs. Cyprian Vane was a local journalist he had destroyed 15 years ago. Long before the Shroud became a global empire, he had leaked a fabricated scandal about Cyprian just to test his algorithm, watching with detached curiosity as the man lost his career, his house, and eventually his life by his own hand. "Cyprian was a good man," Elara continued, "and he was my father. You didn't just kill him, you deleted his dignity. So I decided to return the favor by becoming the one thing you couldn't encrypt, your heart." The revelation was a physical blow. Elara hadn't married him for his money or his influence. She had spent 10 years playing the role of the perfect, oblivious wife, all while documenting every crime, every bribe, and every lie he whispered in his sleep. She wasn't just Aurelius the hacker. She was the architect of his entire life's collapse. She had waited until he reached the absolute peak of his arrogance, until he felt untouchable, so that the gravity of his fall would be terminal. She revealed that the black folder wasn't just a leak. It was a curated dossier of his most violent and illegal acts, sent directly to the International Criminal Court. As the video ended, the motel door was kicked open. But it wasn't the police. It was a crowd of people, ordinary people whose lives Mordecai had sold for $10 a month. They didn't have weapons, they had cameras. They surrounded him, broadcasting his pathetic, tear-streaked face to the very site he had built. He was being live-streamed into a void of global hatred. He begged for mercy, for a lawyer, for a second chance, but the crowd remained silent, their lenses acting as the cold, unblinking eyes of the karma he had cultivated. Mordecai was eventually taken into custody, but his punishment went beyond the prison walls. In a world where he had made everything public, the judge handed down a unique sentence. Mordecai was to be stripped of his name and identity, his face digitally scrubbed from every corner of the internet, and his assets used to fund a digital right-to-be-forgotten foundation headed by Elara. He was moved to a high-security facility, where the inmates weren't allowed to speak his name. He became a ghost in a machine he helped build, a man who once sold the world's secrets, but now couldn't even prove he existed. As he sits in his gray cell, the silence is his only companion. He realized too late that when you tear down the privacy of others, you forfeit the right to your own soul. The shroud had finally covered him, but it wasn't a cloak of power. It was a burial cloth for a man who forgot that behind every data point is a human heart, with a memory that never fades. But as the iron door shuts, a final thought haunts him. Elara is still out there, and she has one secret, left one that will change the fate of his children forever. The cycle of karma never truly ends, it only changes shape. Who is the mysterious benefactor now funding the children's education, and what message did Elara leave in their father's old office? The story of the Cross family has one final, shocking chapter. If you found a lesson in Mordecai's downfall, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for our upcoming finale. The most expensive thing you can own is a secret you didn't earn. What would you do if the person you loved most was actually your greatest enemy? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below.